Very good afternoon. This is the Midday News on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Ashwarya Kapoor. Let us start the Midday News with the headlines. Signing of agreements following delegation-level talks between Vice President Naidu and his Botswanian counterpart today. Inaugurating 13th Global Expo Botswana on Wednesday. Vice President invited companies to seize business opportunities in India. Election Commission team headed by Chief Election Commissioner to review poll preparation for the first phase of elections in Chhattisgarh, 18 constituencies to vote on 12th of November. Bastar Commissioner appeals to the voters to exercise franchise fearlessly. Two terrorists killed in gunfight in Kashmir's Budgam district. Search operations launched last night. Gunfight rages on. Sri Lankan President lifts suspension of Parliament, convenes meeting of legislature on Monday. President Sirisena had suspended Parliament till 16th of November after replacing Vikram Singhe with Rajapakse as Prime Minister, plunging the island nation into a political crisis. And India to take on West Indies in the series decider 5th one-day international at Thiruvananthapuram today. India leading the 5-match series 2-1. The top story this afternoon, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will be holding delegation-level talks with his Botswanian counterpart in the afternoon today. The talks will be followed by signing an exchange of agreements. The Vice President of Botswana is hosting a banquet lunch for Vice President Naidu. Vice President Naidu will also meet the Speaker of National Assembly in Botswana Parliament. Later today, an Indian community reception has also been organized for Vice President Naidu. During the week-long Africa visit, the Vice President will also visit Zimbabwe and Malawi, where he is scheduled to interact with the heads of states and business leaders, and he will also address Indian community there. He is accompanied by a high-level parliamentary delegation comprising of Minister of State for Social Justice and Empowerment, Krishan Pal Gurjar, and 4 members of parliaments. And earlier on Wednesday, Vice President Naidu inaugurated the 13th Global Expo 2018 along with his Botswanian counterpart. And addressing business leaders at the expo, he said that India is moving rapidly on the path of economic transformation, and he invited companies in Botswana to seize business opportunities in India. Naidu said that Botswana and India enjoy a long-standing and enduring partnership as the two countries share the common values of democracy and also strong people-to-people ties. The Vice President also said that India's engagement with Africa over the last 4 years has been unprecedented. India-Botswana bilateral trade has increased by 26% and is valued at $1.75 billion in 2017-18.
Botswana and India enjoy a long-standing and enduring partnership because we share the common values of democracy and strong people-to-people ties. I am delighted to be at this opportune moment and a unique platform that brings together business leaders from different countries. I consider this yet another milestone of India-Botswana business relations. India's relationship with Botswana has remained close and warm. Our engagement has enhanced over the years, including the areas of defense, security, trade and business, healthcare and capacity building. Dear brothers and sisters, it is indeed a matter of great satisfaction that India-Botswana business ties have been growing steadily over the years. Our bilateral trade is valued at $1.75 billion in 2017-18. It is impressive to note that our trade has increased by 26% in 2017-18. Both of our countries need to sustain this upward trend.
And on to some other news. India has jumped 23 positions in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index. And with this, India is now ranked 77 out of 119 countries in 2018, a development that could help the country attract more foreign investments. It was earlier ranked the 100th in 2017, making a leap of 30 places. The World Bank released its latest Doing Business report on Wednesday in New Delhi. India has improved its rank by 53 positions in the last 2 years and 65 positions in the last 4 years. Addressing a news conference, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said that India can crack into top 50 if it improves on the time taken for registering real estate, also starting business and enforcement of contracts.
Position number 142 पे थे. We were 142. तो 142 से 5 साल में 50 तक पहुंच जाएं, ये शायद आज तक वर्ल्ड बैंक बिजनेस रैंकिंग्स में हुआ नहीं है. 3 साल बाद हम 100 नंबर पे थे, 4 साल बाद हम 77 पे थे.
And the GST collections for October 2018 have crossed 1 lakh crore rupees. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley shared the figures on his Twitter handle. He stated that the success of GST is lower rates, lesser evasion, higher compliance, only one tax, and negligible interference by taxation authorities. The states which achieved extraordinary growth in total taxes collected from the state assessors include Kerala at 44%, Jharkhand at 20%, Rajasthan at 14%, Uttarakhand at 13%, and Maharashtra at 11%. The revenue collected in October 2018 of 1,710 crores is higher by 6.64% as compared to September 2018 collection. The total revenue earned by central government and the state governments after regular and provisional settlement in the month of October 2018 is 48,954 crores for CGST and 52,934 crore for SGST. And in a relief to railway passengers, the Railways has scrapped the Flexi Fare scheme in 15 premium trains. The trains for which the scheme has been scrapped include Shatabdis and Durontos. Also, the Railways has removed the Flexi Fare from 32 trains during the lean period of February, March and August. The review of the scheme has been done based on the recommendation of the committee, Controller and Auditor General's report and the representations from passengers. In September 2016, the Railways had introduced the Flexi Fare for premier trains like Rajdhani, Duronto and Shatabdi Express trains. Railway Minister Piyush Goyal said that the reduction of flexi fares is going to benefit both the passengers that can now avail tickets at cheaper rates as well as the railways that will see a surge in demand and occupancy. Also, the maximum cap of flexi fares has been reduced from 1.5 times to 1.4 times of the ticket fares. Also, the Railways has effected a 8.75% increase in freight rates for major commodities such as coal, steel, iron ore and raw materials for steel plants. And according to Railways, this will get additional revenue of 3,344 crore rupees. The freight rates of food grains, flour, pulses, fertilizers, salt and sugar, however, have not been increased. And freight rates for cement and petroleum products, including diesel, have also not been increased. Let's get to some election-related news now. Election Commission team will review the poll preparedness for the first phase of Chhattisgarh Assembly elections in Raipur today. Chief Election Commissioner O.P. Rawat will lead the Election Commission team. O.P. Rawat will also hold meetings with the political parties and subsequently also meet district returning officers, the SPs, IGs and DIGs. The CEC will also hold the meeting of nodal officers of state police and coordinators of central paramilitary forces to ensure peaceful polling during the first phase of elections on 12th of November. And Rajya Sabha TV correspondent Nav Vikram Singh spoke to the Commissioner of Bastar, Dhananjay Devangan, and this after the Naxal attack in Dantewada. And the authorities are now working to ensure fear-free and fair elections. Remember, the first phase of voting in Chhattisgarh will take place on 12th of November.
छत्तीसगढ़ के बस्तर संभाग में पहले फेज में यानी 12 तारीख को चुनाव है। चुनाव की तैयारियों पर बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ हैं बस्तर के आयुक्त धनंजय देवांगन साहब। पहला सवाल करेंगे सर, सबसे पहले तो सुरक्षा एक जो संवेदनशील इलाका है, इसके बारे में समझना चाहेंगे, क्योंकि अभी हमने बीजापुर में देखा, दंतेवाड़ा में भी नक्सली जो वारदात को अंजाम देने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। तो ऐसी संभावनाओं के बीच जो लोगों में भय बना है, उसे खत्म करने के लिए आप लोग क्या कोशिश?
निश्चित रूप से सुरक्षा एक प्रमुख बिंदु है। बाहर से बहुत सारे फोर्स आए हुए हैं, जो हमने कंपनी डिमांड की थी वो मिल रहे हैं, और बस्तर आईजी के नेतृत्व में सभी एसपीज सुरक्षा के लिए कटिबद्ध हैं और कलेक्टर समन्वय स्थापित करते हुए पूरे मतदान की तैयारी करवा रहे हैं।
चुनाव को लेकर किस तरीके की तैयारी है? चुनाव में प्रतिशत बढ़े और ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों तक पहुंच बने, तो इसके लिए आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं?
कुछ पोलिंग स्टेशन में पोलिंग पार्टी को हेलीकॉप्टर से भी भेजा जाएगा। कुछ मतदान केंद्रों में जो पोलिंग पार्टी है वो पैदल चल के भी जाएंगे, और इस प्रकार से मतदान कराने की कार्रवाई की जाएगी। साथ ही साथ मतदाताओं को प्रेरित करने के लिए, मतदान का प्रतिशत बढ़ाने के लिए, उनके मध्य सहज वातावरण बनाने के लिए स्वीप के माध्यम से उन्हें प्रेरित किया जा रहा है। साथ ही साथ जो विशिष्ट श्रेणी के हमारे मतदाता हैं, जैसे बुजुर्ग मतदाता हैं, दिव्यांग मतदाता हैं, उनके लिए आवश्यक सुविधाएं भी मुहैया कराई गई हैं।
आप मतदाताओं से क्या अपील करेंगे? जो आपके बस्तर संभाग में जो मतदाता हैं, उनसे क्या अपील करेंगे? चुनाव में किस तरीके से वो भागीदारी अपनी दें?
मेरी सभी मतदाताओं से यह आग्रह है कि निर्भीक होकर, किसी भी प्रकार के भय से मुक्त होकर, प्रलोभन से दूर रहकर अपने मताधिकार का निश्चित रूप से प्रयोग करें।
तो आप देख सकते हैं कि बस्तर संभाग के कमिश्नर का कहना है कि सुरक्षा के चाक चौबंद इंतजाम है। साथ ही उन्होंने मतदाताओं से भी अपील की है कि निर्भीक होकर मतदान करें। कैमरामैन ओपी के साथ नव विक्रम सिंह, राज्यसभा टीवी, बस्तर।
Big story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where two unidentified terrorists have been killed in the ongoing gunfight that raged between terrorists and the security forces in Budgam district of central Kashmir. And security sources said that a cordon and search operation was launched in the midnight on the basis of inputs about the presence of terrorists in the area. They said that as the forces zeroed in on the suspected place, the hiding terrorists opened fire, triggering gunfight. No immediate report of any fatal or non-fatal casualties on the forces side has been reported so far. And India has lodged a strong protest with Pakistan and China over a bus service scheduled to be launched as part of the $50 billion China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or the CPEC project. The bus service would be started between Lahore in Pakistan and Kashgar, a city in China's far west, through Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar said that the proposed bus service violates India's sovereignty and territorial integrity. The CPEC is a key project under Chinese President Xi Jinping's Pet Belt and Road Initiative, and India has not joined the BRI on the grounds that it does not respect other countries' territorial integrity and has put the participating countries under debt traps. Indian and Japanese armies are holding their first ever joint military exercise from today till 14th of November. The military exercise, named Dharma Guardian 2018, is being held between the Indian Army and the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force at a counter-insurgency warfare school in Mizoram. The Indian contingent is being represented by 61 Gorkha Rifles, while the Japanese contingent by 32 Infantry Regiment of the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force. During the 14-day exercise, due emphasis will be laid on increasing interoperability between forces from both the sides. Both the sides will jointly train, plan and execute a series of well-developed tactical drills for the neutralization of likely threats that may be encountered in urban warfare scenario. Indian and Japanese navies, besides the Coast Guard, regularly hold regular exercises in high seas, but this is the first time ever that the armies of the two nations will hold a joint exercise. In midday news, we'll slip into a very short break. More news updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned. Welcome back after the break. Now, the Supreme Court has declined urgent hearing on a plea by senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram's son Karti Chidambaram seeking permission to go abroad. A bench headed by Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi said that the issue of Karti Chidambaram visiting abroad is not an important matter that requires an urgent hearing. Declining urgent hearing, the apex court observed that the judges have more cases than they can handle. Remember, Karti has been facing several cases, including the grant of Foreign Investment Promotion Board clearance in the INX Media case and also money laundering in the Aircel Maxis case. China has once again alerted India of a possible flood-like situation in the Brahmaputra River in Arunachal Pradesh. The alert of a landslide and subsequent formation of an artificial lake was informed to India separately through diplomatic channels and the mechanism under which China shares hydrological data with Brahmaputra. On 17th of October, China had communicated to India about a landslide near Jiala village in Tibet, which led to the formation of an artificial lake. As the water started breaching the lake, the districts along the Brahmaputra River in Arunachal Pradesh were put on high alert for possible flash floods. And External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj wrapped up her two-nation visit to Qatar and Kuwait on Wednesday. On the last leg in Kuwait, she called on the top leadership of the country, including the Emir of Kuwait. She discussed a range of issues to boost economic and security cooperation, besides raising the concerns of the Indian community there. The meetings followed Sushma Swaraj's interaction with the Indian community in Kuwait. And later, Sushma Swaraj also called on the Prime Minister of Kuwait and also explored avenues for enhancing and further strengthening economic and investment cooperation. She further also held delegation-level talks with the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister for Foreign Affairs. Sushma Swaraj was on the maiden tour to the two Gulf countries of Qatar and Kuwait in a bid to enhance India's engagement in the extended neighborhood. And the United States has revoked duty-free concessions on the import of at least 50 Indian products, mostly from handloom and agriculture sectors. The Federal Register issued a notification listing out 90 products which were so far subject to duty-free provisions under the Generalized Systems of Preferences. President Donald Trump issued a presidential proclamation on Tuesday leading to the removal of these products from the privilege beginning today. With India being the largest beneficiary of the GSP, it has been hit by the latest decision of the Trump administration. The GSP, which is the largest and the oldest U.S. trade preference program, is designed to promote economic development by allowing duty-free entry for thousands of products from designated beneficiary countries. In 2017, India's duty-free export to the U.S. under the GSP was to the tune of more than $5.6 billion. And on to our top international focus, the Sri Lankan President Maithripala Sirisena has lifted the suspension of Parliament and has summoned a meeting of the legislature on Monday. Now, the move is to end the current political stalemate in the country over the sudden sacking of Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. Sirisena, remember, replaced Wickremesinghe with the former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in a dramatic turn of events last Friday. He also suspended Parliament till 16th of November. A new cabinet under Rajapaksa was sworn in on Monday despite a warning from the Parliament Speaker of possible violence if lawmakers were not summoned immediately to resolve the crisis. Ousted Prime Minister Wickremesinghe, who has refused to accept his dismissal, called for a floor test to prove his majority in Parliament. And under increasing pressure to reconvene Parliament, Sirisena and Parliament Speaker discussed the issue yesterday. Big story coming in from Indonesia, where the National Transportation Safety Committee has announced that one black box of a crashed Lion Air jet has been recovered. However, clarification is required whether it is the flight data recorder or the cockpit voice recorder. Now, the devices record information about the speed, altitude and the direction of the plane, as well as flight crew conversations. They could be a key piece of evidence in determining why the Boeing 737 MAX 8 plunged into the Java Sea off Indonesia's northern coast on Monday, killing all the 189 people on board. And Turkey has given its first official statement on how it believes Saudi writer Jamal Khashoggi was killed, saying that he was immediately strangled. The Chief Prosecution's Office in Istanbul said on Wednesday that the body of Khashoggi was dismembered after he was strangled as soon as he entered the Saudi consulate in Istanbul, adding that this was carried out as part of a premeditated plan. The statement follows weeks of media reports about the murder at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul on 2nd of October. Khashoggi's body has not been found, but Turkey, the US and Saudi Arabia have all agreed that he was indeed killed at the consulate. However, there is still no consensus on how he died. Meanwhile, in the United States, both Republican and Democratic senators asked President Donald Trump to suspend civilian nuclear energy talks with Saudi Arabia over the murder of Khashoggi. However, Donald Trump says that he does not feel betrayed by the Saudis. Meanwhile, the United Nations has called for international role on Khashoggi inquiry.
Not betrayed me, no. I just hope that it all works out. We have a lot of facts. We have a lot of things that we've been looking at. They haven't betrayed me. I mean, maybe they betrayed themselves. We'll have to see how it all turns out.
According to Saudi Arabia itself, there are high-level officials who were involved in carrying out this crime, this shockingly brazen crime against a journalist who was a government critic. We think that it would be inadequate for Saudi Arabia alone to be carrying out this investigation, and there needs to be international involvement.
All the sports news now. West Indies has won the toss and elected to bat first in the fifth and final one-day international match against India. The men in blue are leading the five-match series 2-1, and a win in the final ODI will seal series win for India. With the top-order batsmen Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma and Ambati Rayudu in good form, the hosts look set to register their 8th straight series win over the Windies in the bilateral ODI series. And after the fifth ODI, both the countries will also play 3 T20s. The first 2020 is scheduled on the 4th of November in Kolkata, followed by one in Lucknow on the 6th, and then in Chennai on the 11th. And India's ace snooker player Pankaj Advani won the second leg of the Asian Snooker Tour in China. 19-time world champion Pankaj Advani defeated China's Zhu Reti 6-1 in the final to become the first Indian to win an Asian snooker tour event. Advani registered one-sided victories in every game that he played from the league stage to the knockout phase. Tennis news: Indian duo of Ramkumar Ramanathan and Saket Mainini entered the men's doubles semi-final of the Challenger tennis tournament in China. The Indian duo defeated Chinese pair of Wu Di and Te Rigele 6-4, 6-3 in the quarter-final to enter the semi-final of the tournament. And in the men's singles, Sasikumar Mukund defeated 8-seeded Philip Peliwo of Canada in the round of 16 to advance to the quarter-final stage of the tournament. Earlier, Mukund defeated Wu Yibing of China in the round of 32. An Indian shuttler Rituparna Das entered the pre-quarter-final of the Macau Open World Tour Badminton Tournament. Rituparna defeated Chiang Ying Lee of Taiwan 21-13, 21-7. In the women's singles, she will next face Han Yui of China today in the pre-quarter-finals. While in the men's singles, it was curtains for former Commonwealth Games bronze medalist RMV Gurusai Dutt, who lost his match to his Thai opponent. Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Punjab, Karnataka, Kerala and Rajasthan, along with the union territories of Lakshadweep, Puducherry, Andaman and Nicobar, are celebrating their Foundation Day today. President Ramnath Kovind wished all the states on their Foundation Day. In a Twitter message, he hoped for all these regions to scale new heights in the near future. And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu also congratulated the people and administration of all the states. He wished that people must live in peace and prosper in all walks of their lives. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi also tweeted his best wishes on the Foundation Day of all the 7 states and union territories. He especially appreciated the development of Madhya Pradesh. In his tweet, he also mentioned that Chhattisgarh and Haryana have touched new heights of infrastructure development. The Prime Minister also appreciated Kerala's rich culture and Karnataka's history. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Midday News. Thanks for watching. Up ahead is Khabar Dopaher.